Certainly great to welcome you back to Connect. I'm your host, Conn Patrick Jackson. What kind of films do you like to watch? Well, one of my favorite I always go to are documentaries, and there's an amazing one I'm excited about coming to A&E. It's a biography on JFK Jr. We're about to talk to one of his friends and the author of his biography. It's awesome, and now it's coming to life for us all to see through interviews and footage. Joining us right now, Steve. Steve, how excited are you for us to see it?
Well, I'm really excited. You know, it premieres on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. It's the most intimate and I think the most revealing portrait of John that anyone will see. A handful of people who are close to John, some of whom, like myself, have never spoken about John before. We share our stories, and the documentary focuses on that last year of John's life, where all the different threads of his life come together. And it's such a, it's powerful, it's sad because we know how it ends. But I think people will see John as a more complex person than they've ever seen before.
Of the litany of choices John had, why the magazine?
Well, first of all, it's a natural fit for John, right? Because George was about the intersection between politics and popular culture, and that's what John's life was. So it was a natural fit for him. And I think also, John, as he got older, was thinking more and more about going into politics, and a magazine about politics was sort of a perfect way for him to take another step toward entering politics without actually making the decision to run for office.
If I may ask you, because you knew him so well, I mean, when I think of JFK Jr. or John, I think of the smile, the charm. Was that charisma a gift?
It was. I mean, so the thing about John that most people don't know, when people ask me, like, what was John like in private? What do you see of John in private you don't see in public? And I would just say his sense of humor. John was so funny. I mean, he was a great storyteller, a great mimic. He liked making fun of people, especially me. He didn't mind being the brunt of a joke. So John, John was full of life, full of energy, and I think people see that in the way he carried himself in public.
Well, indeed, and I can't wait to watch the documentary. But what gave you the trust that A&E was the right fit to bring your book and this story to life?
Well, so when I wrote the book, I was considering about having a documentary based on the book, and I would not trust anyone with it, but except for A&E. I've been working there for 20 years. I know the people there. I trusted them, and I have to tell you, I was thrilled with what they did with the documentary. For those of us who knew John, watching it was like being with him again. And I think for those viewers who watch it, who never got to meet John, who only saw him as a picture on a magazine, they'll get a much more intimate inside portrait of John, and they'll see a side of John that they've never seen before.
Well, Steve, the insights are great. I can't wait to watch the documentary. More importantly, thank you for writing the biography on JFK through your insights, and I look forward to seeing what you further have to say for the show. But in closing, the legacy of John is clear, but what do you think he would wish for all of us?
John was all about civility. He didn't care whether you're a liberal or conservative, Democratic or Republican. He believed that we needed to treat each other with respect, that we needed to have conversations that went beyond partisan borders. And I think if the best thing we could do to honor his memory would be to try to find some of that civility returned to in our public life.
Well, Steve, one thing's for sure, he had a great friend in you. Thank you for sharing your insights and joining us today.
Thanks, Conn.